It can be really challenging to know if you're under the thumb of a toxic leader because of all the gaslighting, manipulation, and verbally aggressive communication that might come your way, which can, in effect, cause you to second guess yourself. So today, I want to provide you with 8 expert-approved signs that your boss could be toxic as showcased through their communication. So if you're seeking to understand if your boss is really a toxic, poisonous leader, this vlog should be helpful for you. My name is Sarah Lebigeiger de Rodriguez, Director at Sarah Geiger International. I train executives and top-tier emerging leaders to communicate more eloquently, elegantly, and with impact and influence. So if you're looking at up-leveling your career communication, you might like to subscribe to this channel and follow along with all our tips tutorials. But without further ado, let's get into it. So the first question I want to present you with is, why are toxic leaders toxic? If you've faced a toxic boss at any point in your career, I'm sure this question has come to mind, but let's hear it from researchers. In 2019, Milosevic found that toxic leaders are verified as using toxic interactions, behaviors, and communication in order to do 2 things. The first thing is to mask their incompetence, and the second factor is to protect their access to control. Mask incompetence, protect access to control. So if these core motivators behind a toxic boss's intent at work, it goes without saying that there will be signs as measured and observed through their communication style. So today, let's look at the 8 expert-approved signals that your boss could be a toxic leader. Signal number 1 is verbal interjections. Verbal interjections can happen when we're excited or apprehensive or really eager to discuss a topic, but in the case of a toxic leader, they would be used to exert control. The toxic leader will step in, catch you off guard, interject on your message so that you're left dumbfounded, a bit like a rabbit in the headlights, which enables the toxic leader to exert control over your emotions, your responses, and reactions. Signal number 2 is authoritative messages. If you notice that your boss is a real authoritarian, they're very didactic, controlling, and commanding with their communication, especially when it comes to your workflow and what they expect from you, that could be an indicator that there's some toxic poison in the room. Signal number 3 would be angry messages. So you might observe your boss sharing a message with you in an angry, obnoxious, negative manner, such that it impacts your mood, the way you're feeling, and the way you're delivering your message to make you feel uncomfortable, cornered, or even questioned about your value and your expertise. Angry messages are usually a sign of toxic communication. If for whatever reason you feel that your boss doesn't support your interests, your opinions, your experience, or even your career progression, and it feels like they're trying to control your pathway and put a brick wall right in front of your feet, that could be a sign that your toxic boss is impacting on you at work and trying to have influence over the way they control your career progression and your comfort and status, and even importance at work. Signal number 5 would be the presence of derogatory remarks. So if you notice the communicator using sarcasm, put downs, negative, prejudiced statements to disempower you, to undermine your skills, your expertise, your knowledge, your interests, your experience, your friendships, your activities and hobbies, that could be an indicator that there's some poisonous rain in the room. Signal number 6 is blindsiding. So you might observe a toxic leader concealing information from you that would otherwise benefit you or give you the vital detail that you need to complete your KPIs, achieve success in the workplace of a project, or move forward. Blindsiding is a control measure that toxic leaders use to control the course of your path at work, your comfort at work, to exert power and influence over you. And at times it's also used to mask, as we mentioned, their incompetence, because that's another motivator of a toxic leader. Signal number 7 is conversation exclusion. If you feel like you're present in the room in a team conversation, but the toxic leader somehow, although you're there in the conversation, is making you feel like you're not a part of it, that is a very strong indicator of toxic communication and could suggest that your boss is toxic. Signal number 8 is project or task exclusion. So if you're involved in a project and there are some signals that suggest that although this project is part of your responsibility and you're being left out of the decision-making process, the workflow process, the opportunity to give input and influence with your expertise and skills, that could be a signal that the person heading up the project is interacting with you using toxic communication. Communication most often reveals a person's character and values, both the good and the bad. So today I want you to remember that communication leaves signs and traces of what a person's identity, value system, and code of ethics is. If you're seeing toxic communication styles, that is very strongly suggestive of toxic management, acid rain in the workplace culture. Did you find this topic helpful? If so, and you want to take it further, I strongly recommend that you head across to an article on my website. You can find that in the blog page. I'll leave a link on the screen to help you access that. In the article, I'll give you a few tips and strategies, as well as an overview of some of the content we've covered today about the 8 signals of a toxic leader. And you can also find a recommended pathway for how to react and respond if faced with a toxic interaction at work. So do check that one out if you're wanting to build up and insulate yourself from the blizzard of toxic communication around you. I'd also love to learn more about your challenges, any questions that you're having about toxic communication at work and how to orientate and navigate that difficult pathway. So do leave any questions or comments in the box below and I will respond to all comments received. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this one helpful. It's always a difficult topic to broach, especially because I myself am a boss and I'm always doing my absolute best to communicate with integrity in a manner that represents my code of ethics. So this is a topic I haven't often spoken about because I've also been victim to toxic bosses and the topic can be a bit triggering. So as we wrap up today, I remind you to put your well-being first. I know that most people would recommend, if faced with a toxic communicator in the workplace, the best course of action is to extricate yourself out of the workplace, like hit that ejection chair and blow yourself out of the toxic environment. But if you're not able to do that, which I understand is often the case, we need our jobs, we need our source of revenue and income, and we can't always find a solution in the heat of the moment. Get a pathway in place, and you can find loads of tips on the blog post that I've mentioned to assist you in that process. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful day ahead. If you like this type of content, don't forget to click like and also subscribe to the channel. I blog and vlog pretty much weekly for career communication empowering tips, so I'm sure you'll enjoy what we've got planned in the coming weeks. Have a great day and ciao for now.